All right, guys, we're back again. Dynamic Man Podcast, episode 73. Should you apologize if you don't kiss her? We are about to post this sucker up right now, and we're gonna jump right into it because I got calls as usual. Late workout today, guys. My bad. My bad. All right. So, we had this post today. I commented a little bit about it already on X. I'm not talking about my post too much because I already posted about it. But I did want to talk about a little bit more about Blaine's post, some other elements here, mostly about the kissing. So Blaine is a matchmaking as a matchmaker, also apparently dating coach for men. I like Blaine a lot, by the way. I think she's a good person. So not throwing any shade. We all have different opinions on here. You put an opinion out on the internet, you're gonna get some flack for it. But I don't think this is good advice right here. So she basically said matchmaking client said he went on a phenomenal second date, except he didn't go in for the kiss. This is problematic. If you haven't kissed a woman after a good second date, she will start wondering, does he like me? Was this just friendly? Is he into women? If you're ever in this situation, my recommendation is a text or something like, hey, I had fun last night. I'm not the best at timing a first kiss, but I will confess it was on my mind. This helps you avoid the friend zone and creates tension for a third date. Okay, now I'm going to be charitable. I'm going to be a little bit more charitable right now than I was in my post. Um, Perhaps there is a context. I'm going to say perhaps. This may not fall flat if the girl is super into you and she really feels undesirable. And she really needs strong reassurance. So, in that situation where a woman is basically about to crash out because she really liked you but wasn't sure if you liked her back, then this text isn't going to hurt you. It will create an intensification of feelings and will set the tension for the next date. The problem is this. The problem is you don't know 100% where she's at, and you also don't know if telling her this, she might like you and she might wonder if you like her. But if you tell her this, it can go either direction. Some women, when they hear this, they might think, "Oh my god, he really does like me. Like this is amazing." And then she might start to fall into like a romantic fantasizing about you, right? But other women, they might hear that and then they might think, "Okay, well, maybe I don't like him as much as I thought." Because he wouldn't take a move. So maybe it's a little bit too vulnerable, right? A little bit too open. The point here is that it's an unnecessary risk because it only works in a single situation. Whereas you can completely cover your bases and achieve the same result without any downside if you do something like I made in my tweet, my post, which was that you want to instead make a comment about how attractive you found her. Now, the reason this is good is because it plays the same role as the kiss without sort of indicating that you were too nervous to go in for the kiss. You don't want to in the beginning of a like vulnerability. I'm not an anti-vulnerability guy. Anybody who knows my work knows I'm not an anti-vulnerability guy. Okay? But there is a context to when you should be vulnerable and about what. I can be vulnerable with virtually anything with my wife at this point in time. And it's probably going to improve the relationship, right? Or at least can set the foundation for the relationship to be improved because it can burn away, to paraphrase Jordan Peterson, some deadwood that's holding back the relationship from growing. There's enough structure and support in place that if I am vulnerable, it's kind of like you can view vulnerability as a way of kind of blowing up, of like clearing out something, right? But at this stage in the game, you don't need to be vulnerable about that. Because in the beginning, when you're dating a woman, you are experiencing maximum polarity. Okay, maximum polarity. Maximum polarity is that The woman is going to act as feminine as she is capable of being, and the man is going to act as masculine as he is capable of being. This is natural courtship behavior. It's literally as if you were observing two birds and how like one bird does a fucking dance to try to get the attention of women. Like humans have their own courtship rituals. Different groups of humans have their own courtship rituals, slightly different. And the point here is that in one of the universal features, though, of human courtship is that men will act more masculine. Even like fucking weak, limp-wristed dudes are going to act more masculine. And even, big, tough feminists are going to act more feminine in the beginning because it's naturally unconscious part of the wiring. I talk about girl game is weaponized feminism in the courtship phase. That's what it is. Okay. So look, you don't want accordingly to be doing things early on in the relationship that are going to frame you in a non-masculine light, especially when there's no absolute reason for it whatsoever. I get in some situations you throw a Hail Mary. Maybe all you can do is just acknowledge exactly what you had done. And then what you have to do is leave a bunch of space. Like I had a client who messed up things with a girl. They really, really liked each other. And he made way too, and there was a lot of trust built up between them. And without going into too much detail, she had access to his Instagram. Don't ask why, it doesn't matter, but it was legit. And she saw that he was still like trying to set things up with other women. Now he was doing this in part really somewhat out of habit, somewhat out of self-sabotage, because things were really going well with this woman. She saw this stuff, it all blew up, it fell apart. In his situation, really all you can do is acknowledge that you fucked up and then create space. And then you see maybe down the line, if the feelings are really there, she's going to come back or not. But you can't try to force anything. You know what I mean? The point is that that's a Hail Mary situation. In this situation, it's totally unnecessary, absolutely totally unnecessary, and very, very high risk for no reason. Because if you just made a comment about how attractive she was, that girl was really into him and wondered why he didn't kiss her. She's back. She's reassured. Oh, he thinks I'm beautiful. He thinks I'm hot. Especially if he then does something that shows a little bit more investment, maybe takes her to a nicer place the next time, right? That's debatable, right? But the point is, you get what I'm saying here. You address it indirectly. You don't address it directly. You solve the problem indirectly. This is true in a lot of things in relationships as well with women. Sometimes the best way to fix a problem with a woman is not to keep talking about the problem. I was responding to an email recently. People said like, oh, because he was hearing some advice that you should always every week have a check-in and talk about what you didn't like about the week, or like, I'm like, to me, it's like, don't talk about problems so much. If you know something's upset her, you don't have to like even go in. Like, I want to give you an example. My wife doing this to me, having some stupid fucking bullshit marriage spat, very minor nitpick stuff about the trash bags that we're using. She's getting really small trash bags. They weren't fitting. It was ridiculous. I'm sorry, it was ridiculous. Slip it into the bin. What's the point? Okay. When we had a spat about it, she wasn't like agreeing with me. But you know what? Started to replace the bags with the bigger ones. Very sweet of her to do that, by the way. But that's the point. Like, if I were to be like, hey, thank you for changing the bags, what the fuck? That's like kind of like not allowing her to save face. I'm not going to maybe she sees this, but I'm not going to tell her that I appreciate that she changed the bags. Okay? So this is one of those things. You go about it indirectly, solve the problem indirectly, show in a different way that you're a man who's into her and who's going to make a move. You solve the problem, and you create more mystery. Well, why didn't he kiss me then? Let her think about this. Let her fucking run around her head with it, because that's how a woman invests more in you emotionally. All right, guys, I got to jump on a call. I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, Dynamic Man Podcast. I love you. I appreciate you. Have a great day.